A very warm welcome to this week's edition of the Owl and the Pussycat. Yes, it's a brand new series and we've been right into it. Let's meet the panel, no holding back this time. We've got Andrea Cairns with us. Andrea, hello and welcome back.
Hi, it's nice to be back.
Enjoyed last time?
Absolutely.
Right, well you're going to enjoy this one a lot more, I can tell you that. So, Serena Roganui joins us. Well done. You got through the first one, the second one will be easy, won't it?
Yeah, well, we hope so.
Yeah, you'd had some feedback?
Yeah, that's
been good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cassandra Rolls joins us, and Cassandra, you were splendid last time. Let's hope we can go.
Thank you.
But we have had a lot of mail traffic, a lot of letters coming in, so we're not going to muck around this time. We're going to get straight to it. And the first question is from a worried mum in Timaru, and I think you've got every right to be worried mum in Timaru. You'd be the only worried mum in Timaru, I would think. However, just recently my son attended an event. He was handed a pack of condoms and lube promoting safe sex, of course. Is it acceptable for this to be happening? Okay. You have a 7-year-old son,
Yes,
do we, Andrea? Okay.
Yep.
Reaction?
Wow, I would not be very impressed if that was my 14-year-old at an event being handed condoms and things. Maybe in the context of, I don't know, well, sex education or something like that, but not at like a public event. So
Yeah, well, I went to like a semi-religious school, so the only thing that they taught us was abstinence, so that never really happened to me. But
Don't want to encourage it.
yeah, I don't want to encourage it. In some ways that's good, but I think, in school there's only like limited education on sex and only sort of like like options. It's like either here's the condom and the lube or here's a little bit or abstinence. And I just think that it's more about like teaching kids, educating them a bit better about how to, all the different tools that they can use to kind of
It will happen
get through it.
eventually, though.
Yeah.
So it's better.
From my experience of my children having their I guess sex education, health in school, it seems a lot more detailed and things than when I can't really remember much at all, especially when I was at primary school, and only really limited it at college, probably the same as you.
Yeah.
Mind you, 14-year-old boys are somewhat different from 14-year-old boys in my time. They're exposed to so much of this now, aren't they? Yeah, so...
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. I guess we're kind of in the media and our social, culture is a lot more sexually active, I would say.
Yeah.
Well, it's thrown in front of them all the time, and they've all got a computer probably, so it's not hard to source it, is it?
Yeah.
No, well that's another whole issue itself, isn't it?
Should it be
another whole topic.
Should boys be treated differently from girls then, the age-wise or whatever? You've got both,
Both.
Yeah.
Well, I think it should actually be sort of, I guess, quite equal. I mean, they both need to know, I guess, how each other's, bodies work, and also their responsibilities and what can happen.
Yeah. Let's put our hands up. I mean, to be fair, how proactive were our parents in sex education? Zilch. Carry on.
Yeah,
Same.
zilch.
Yeah.
I think I got most of mine from reading, when I was young, the Charlie and Dolly magazines, and they had
Same.
the sealed Charlie. You're
old I am. A wee peek in there.
And, and it was, those wee teenage
Yeah, my periods were terrible. My mum told me that I had hemorrhoids when I first got my period.
Right.
Yeah, so I sort of went through the first couple of months really traumatised.
Wow, yes.
Yeah, I think that must be a
funny
hell of
looking
a
back at it
frightening
now.
thing. Hell of a frightening thing. I mean, it seems unnatural, doesn't it? And no one's told you what the devil it is. Yeah. How did you cope with it?
It's always an awkward stage, especially for a young girl. It's very. And
And am I
wants to
right
have
in
the
assuming
awkward
it's happening a
conversation.
lot earlier with girls now?
I was just going to say, absolutely.
Right. I mean, my father was brilliant. I would say something's wrong with mum, and he'd say, "Forget it, it's down below." And that was my sex education. I had no idea to what he referred to, but it seemed to be on a regular monthly basis. That was the only thing I could work out. But there we are. So we're all at fault. Someone has to pick up the cudgel, don't they, I presume, and there's got to be some form of education. At a public function, though, probably that's a little bit offbeat, isn't it?
I reckon that's offbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then what teenage boy is going to want to go out and buy condoms if he does need it in the off chance? It's probably better to get it in a way that he does have it, so that it's not doing without.
Yeah, I did have a chat to my son at one stage. It was a big step forward, and he said, "Well, not everybody does it at the back of the airport like you used to." And that was the end of that conversation. No, on a scale of 10, I was appalling, I can tell you. So there we are. Okay, right. This is one here as well now, and this one actually comes from Ashburton. I have my suspicions that there's a workplace romance going on. Oh, baby. The problem is he's married and she's the boss's daughter. Lovely, isn't it?
Oh.
It's making things very awkward at work, and I don't know how to act around them. Do I say something? Who to? Go for it.
No. None of his business.
See,
But it's happening in the workplace.
for
But
me-
if it doesn't involve him,
well, I'm quite a confrontational person, so the way I would approach it would be hey, I'd say, I actually know what's going on, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to go and talk to somebody about this because I don't agree with what you're doing, because I don't agree with extramarital affairs. So that's what I do. I confront them, but give them the opportunity to do it, and then kind of like get myself out of that, because it would just mess with me if holding someone's secret, because I think that could just ruin you.
I think that's quite a nice, approach. But then again, I'm probably, on the fence because then it's that.
if you don't know
their
anything
own.
for sure,
Yeah.
It's-
Oh, true. Yeah.
So let's just get it
Unless
clear
you've
on this.
seen them in
You're
the
going to go
act.
direct to the two participants?
Well, if I knew, probably to one, whoever I felt that I could
Bet you
talk
picked a
to.
female.
Well, actually, I was thinking of talking to the male. Yeah.
Scary. How, you might work side by side next to them. You might actually
Yeah.
know them really well. So it would
Yeah,
depend on
yeah.
your own relationship with them as well.
That's true.
Where does the
And-
boss get involved?
well,
To be
if
honest,
it's his
with the work.
daughter though, that's a little awkward.
Oh, yeah, it's
Oh,
the
that's a good
daughter.
idea.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
1 minute over the end. Okay, I'll just go through it quickly. He's having the affair. He's married,
Yeah.
and he's having the affair with the boss's daughter. Where's the line of attack?
Where is it?
Okay, well then,
That's my only line of attack, is to
Yeah.
confront one of them who I felt more comfortable who would receive that, and just be like, look, you have to do something about it. If you don't tell somebody, you give you some time to go and own up to this situation, because it's not, and everyone's keeping your secrets for you. You've got to go tell your dad or tell your boss.
But then if it's his boss's daughter,
otherwise,
that could put you in hot water.
and is there an
Yeah, true,
age thing as well? I mean, you sort of assume that maybe it's an older married man in the.
Just before we go to the break, think of the insurance company where the glass window was actually see-through. Wouldn't have to tell anybody, really, would you? It'd be good. Yeah. So long as you were drinking at the drinking establishment across the road, I mean, what a night's entertainment. Terrific. Anyway, we'll be back with What the People Think on the Street with the Owl and the Pussycat. Welcome back. It's time for the topic of the week. Fasten your seatbelt for this one and see if you can help. Okay. This is the question that was posed on the street to Canterburyans. The books have been out for a while now, and the movie 50 Shades of Grey has come out at the movies recently. We asked the public on the streets of Christchurch, had they seen it? Second point, is it demeaning to women? And third point, has it changed the way people are intimate with each other? Let's see what the public thought.
I'm not a prude, but I don't like that women are being degraded, or that women are degrading themselves. Here I am standing in a bit of a mini dress today myself. But I think that, I was born in the 40s, so I think that women back in the 60s, we did a lot to get women to be equal, and now they want to dance in their underwear or less. And it's such a shame we don't have to do that,
Well, funny enough, my partner went along to it 3 weeks or a month ago, and I don't know the story, but she felt sorry for the guy. I don't know. That's all I know about it.
I think people may be more open about that, but I don't know if it's changed the way they are in relationships, but I just think more open to talk about it naturally.
I do think it has, and I'm not sure that it's necessarily good. There's many things that's promoting some people say a warped sense of what intimacy is, and a lot of that I think comes back to what you've been taught when you grow up, and different experiences you have as to what is good intimacy and what is bad intimacy, and I think that it has potential on young, new learning minds to get, they think something's good when in actual fact it can be quite damaging to them.
Oh, I don't know if I'm any clearer, but I tell you what forthright answers from Cantabrians. Well done. Well, the spot goes on you, madam. Cassandra, you've read the books and you've been to the movie. Your thoughts? Well, let's go through the topics one at a time. Have you seen it? Yes, you have.
Yes, I have. I loved the movie, loved the books. I'll go see it again. I'll get it on DVD.
Right. Has hubby seen it?
No.
Why not?
He would never see it.
Why not?
To him, he says it's filth, pretty much, but I love it. Love Christian Grey.
Oh, so why do you love it? Because I haven't seen the movie or read the book.
Read the books.
He just puts up a fantasy of
Oh,
kind of the forbidden man, the bad boy. I know a lot of people think of it as abuse and that he's abusing her.
Which is part of the question. Is it to leave it to a woman? You've seen it, read it. What do you think?
I don't think so. It's completely her choice for those that have seen it.
Because she has to sign a contract and all those sorts of things, doesn't she? So
but
I
she
guess
makes that decision.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then you think, is it raising out all those issues of,
Andrew, you've read the
consensual-
books. You haven't seen the movie.
Yes, I read the first book and I just sort of skimmed through the second and third.
Right.
So
Did
I
it
haven't
get
seen the
boring?
movie.
I have no idea, but I just, why did you skim through the other two?
Oh, because I was busy. Maybe I need to go back and reread them.
Sandra, back to you. Would you have liked to have been the woman in the film?
Oh, of course.
Would you really?
Of course.
Girl.
Wow. There we go.
What do you call it? S&M.
Yeah, BDSM.
Do we know what that stands for? I've asked people to explain.
Bondage, discipline, sadism, and machoism. I know too
What's
much
the last
about
bit?
this. Bondage, discipline, sadism, and machoism.
I kind of like one thing out of there, which is discipline.
Yeah.
And the other, bondage, sadism, I don't think that really appeals to me. And I am kind of like anti-violence. And I also think maybe women do love this kind of thing. It's kind of like when all the Twilight movies came out and there's this fantasy guy and it's just, it is like, you both were saying mummy porn, you know what I mean? Woman porn.
Well, because the woman who wrote it, then I think she started writing like Twilight fan fiction, and that's how
That's
it all
where it
sort
came
of-
off
I mean, so
from.
they're not obviously the world's
okay,
yeah.
Did you get the feeling, you two guys anyway, did you get the feeling that she had lived through it? That she had actually been involved when she sat down to write the book? I mean, do you think this comes from
I
experience?
think it's a
or?
lot of fantasy writing.
Yeah.
And I mean, if she's, I mean, I don't really know much about her, but I mean, I guess it's the whole thing. You can Google a lot and watch a lot and all those sorts of things that she's probably got inspiration from.
Maybe this is the problem that everyone's having. It is a fantasy relationship where this is actually all working out for the good, but there's actually relationships out there that are violent, and it's sort of like a
might
separation
mask it
between
as
like
that.
reality and fantasy.
Yeah. It's a very fine line, isn't it? Yeah. Has it changed your life?
No.
Private
Has it changed your life?
What's that? No, it hasn't changed my life.
Has it changed your life for not having read or seen it?
Maybe it feels DVD night and we can watch it and critique
So
it.
thanks, Cantabs, very much for that. Your answers were very, very good. I think it was about 1-1 whether they thought that the man was degraded or the woman was degraded, and the others just said, hey, look, this is probably the life we're leading at the moment, which does bring up others. What would be the next thing to appear in mainstream, this is obviously now coming as mainstream theatre or mainstream books?
Wow, yeah.
What's the next topic that gets an attack?
Well, we've gone from vampires to
We've had superheroes.
the superheroes.
Yeah. Same sex.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah, probably same sex. issues.
Well, it's interesting that because I watched the Bachelor the other night, and the Bachelor, and my son was like, well, why don't they have a gay bachelor? Will they ever have that one day? So I mean,
Interesting. Yeah. So is that a likely development that'll move along? Where do you think we'll go? What will become the next acceptable?
I don't really know, but I think for all of us, the human condition is that we all like relationships. How we relate to each other, romantic relationships. So anything that's got to do with that under whatever theme, we're all going to love and chew it up.
Can I ask, just following on from the question we asked in the first part, does this go anywhere towards sex education for young people?
Not sex education like this.
Because kids will pick up the book and read it.
Oh, yeah.
True that.
So do they get anything out of it?
The films are 18.
Yeah.
You can't watch it that
No, I'm
hard.
just talking about the book.
But the book's worse. than the movie. So hopefully they don't.
Well,
But I heard that some kids went to, book day, hey, dress up as your favourite book character, going as Christian Grey. There was one in the news, he went as Christian Grey.
Because
he
all
got
the
kicked
mothers
out
have
of
got the
school.
books lying around.
Yes.
Exactly. Oh,
it just
geez.
raises the question, how do you stop the explosion? You cannot. It is so accessible now in so many other parts of the medium, isn't it? That, yeah, I mean, I'm the bug really that doesn't know a hell of a lot about it because I've not seen it or read it. All I know is it hasn't changed the landlady one little bit in the boudoir, but there we are. Perhaps she needs to reread it, but I'm not sure. Okay, when we come back for the last part, we'll get more into your letters. Welcome back. Keep your thoughts and concerns and comments coming, and all you've got to do is lisa.jordan@ctv.co.nz. It's been terrific so far. If something you've picked up out of here you want to have a crack at, well, we've got just the bulletproof team that can handle all that. All right, tough one, guys. Let's throw it into the middle of the ring. How do you keep love alive in a failing relationship? What keeps us fresh?
Well, I guess I talked at date nights and things like that, isn't it? Time.
Yeah.
But if it's
Time with each
failing,
other.
it's
Well,
failing.
It's failing for
There's
a
not a lot
reason.
you can
Yeah.
do. If it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
Well, what's the
But
ingredients then to keep it
bring
alive?
back, to bring it back,
Yeah.
Yeah.
date night, mix it up in the bedroom.
She likes that. She likes that. 50 Shades of Grey. Well, I think it's kind of got to start from a decision of really, do you both want to make it work? And then it's
Yeah.
about deciding what are those practical things you're going to do to keep it alive.
Take the steps to bring it
yeah,
back.
and I think it's you've got to make a big change. Like if it's failing, it's obvious like you've left something so long before you've dealt with it, and it's about going, okay, we've got to wake up. Do we want to make this work? And if the answer is yes, it's like, well, got to be willing to make some drastic changes.
Yeah,
And that
exactly.
real conscious decision
Yeah.
rather than being a one-sided thing. So if it's one-sided, it's
If one
never
wants
going
out,
to,
then
Yep.
it's
never
gone.
going to work.
Andrew, you've been through it, and you look now. Do you think that there were telltale signs that you didn't pick up on early enough to be able to correct it, do something about, or did it just disintegrate?
I mean, it's such a hard thing to say, but the thing is, we did separate for a wee while, for about 6 months, when the children were a lot littler, and then we got back together. And
Did you seek any help?
What's that?
Did you
Yes,
seek-
we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did the whole marriage counselling thing and everything, and then it got to the point where, yes, we're just on different directions.
Right.
And yeah. we made
So
that
are there any
decision. So-
warning signs you can tell our viewers that, what to look out for?
Oh, well, not. I guess you just know when a relationship's not progressing, or it's not progressing, or maybe there's that trust is gone.
Can I ask you a
think
really
trust
hard
is a-
question?
Yeah.
Did you hang in because of the kids?
I got back together, probably a lot. The children were a huge reason, and that is another big issue. People stay together for the children, whether that's right or wrong.
Yeah.
Who knows? You've got to do what's right. What's right for you.
Yeah,
It's
that's
tough, but yeah.
So when the communication breaks down, is it really irretrievable?
Well, I don't think so. Well, me and my husband actually separated for 6 months, and now we're back together and making it work, and that was like a year and a half ago. And
What did you
so,
learn in your 6 months?
about myself, what I really wanted in life, and like what was my responsibility and what was his responsibility, and how we're going to make that work together. And if it was all like a testing period of like, okay, now I know who I am, because we were married really young. I think that was one of the problems. But yeah, we don't have any kids, so for us it was like, I guess it was a bit more clear cut about like we actually both wanted to be together, not because of kids or anything
which
like
that's
that.
something
So
that's
it
nice way to
must be
start
so
that,
hard,
that makes-
when you have kids, because it was hard, when
And
you
having
don't.
children is tough on a relationship
It
and a
is.
marriage to start with.
Anyway.
So yeah, even the best ones.
So what did you both bring back to the relationship that made it work
Well, the
after your time out?
After our time out, we both sort of come together and agreed that we really loved each other. We just kind of had to establish that, do we really love each other? And then the next step was we got a lot of help in from our families and marriage counselling. Yeah.
We've got a letter here which is an interesting one because it follows on from what you're saying. It seems so easy to get out of step, doesn't it, in a relationship?
Yeah.
This is quite a tough one. I tried to do something nice for my wife. I bought her a dress. I thought she'd look great in it. I left it lying on the bed with a note saying, I saw this and thought of you, love you, which is lovely. I came home later that night to a very upset wife. I'd bought the dress in the wrong size. I'm a guy, so obviously I have no clue about things like that. Now she believes I think she's fat. I'm in the dog box, even though I tried to do something out of love. She is being unrealistic, ? What do I do to get myself out of this?
Oh no!
Go for it.
I think he did such a nice thing,
Yeah,
eh? Like we both were like, oh, that's so nice.
Sweet.
But because I think we'd all like
Yeah.
a new dress. Come on,
that.
lady.
Yeah. And so she had something that he's picked out. He thinks that should look good in it. For him to make that effort in the first place,
anyway,
to go into
so
a shop
big.
in the first place.
For a man, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even to think of doing it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Should get applause.
I think I tell my
Oh,
husband all the time to do that. I've never had a dress yet.
I haven't been bought a dress yet. I think it's
What's the nicest
amazing.
thing hubby's bought you?
A wedding ring?
Oh yeah, about the same. And then other than that, McDonald's.
And I mean, she should be grateful. I mean, everyone should always be grateful for getting a gift. And there's other ways she could have dealt with it. Have said,
Yeah.
oh, look.
But at the same time, I think, you know, hubby, you kind of live, you kind of learn, because everybody has these sensitive issues, and it is a big thing, you know, weight with women, you know, self-image, so...
But he didn't set out, did he,
No,
with any
it
foul
wasn't.
intent? No.
She kind of needs to understand that it wasn't malicious or
Right.
him saying,
Yeah.
it's her being sensitive to her own sort of issue, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's not his
Sorry.
fault.
Yeah.
If it happened to me, I'd get the dress, I'd secretly take it back to the shop,
Yes,
get the
yeah,
new
yeah.
size and bring it back and say, I love it, thank you so much.
And wear
That's a
it.
good idea.
And wear it,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. He would be none the
Well,
wiser.
do you know that you've done that, though?
Yeah.
No, because then he wouldn't do it
So that's an
again.
interesting,
Yeah.
And then he might keep buying you stuff
That's
in that
true,
size, and it
that's
just really
true.
play on your... Actually, yeah, I do feel sorry for it. Really play
Yeah.
on your mind, you know.
I think the best solution probably would be put it on. Say, listen, honey, it's a great
yeah.
fit. I just had to come down a size or whatever, but
Exactly.
gee, it looks
That would
terrific,
work.
you know, yeah. Now it's going to cost you dinner.
Yeah.
Not McDonald's. Interesting word in there, dog box, isn't it? I mean, it's a very old-fashioned word to use. I've been in it more times than my dog has. You guys all have had a taste of putting him in the dog box or you being in the dog box?
Yeah.
Oh, I think in any
Yeah.
relationship,
Yes.
marriage.
I've definitely
Sleep
put
on
my
the
husband in
couch.
the dog box. Yeah, on
Yeah.
the couch. But
Yeah.
I think he's put me there as well. Yeah.
You have what?
Sometimes I've been put on the couch myself. I've been
Right.
put in the dog box.
What are some of the main causes?
Stubbornness, probably. Not, you know, kind of not willing to relent, and he's like, I needed my space now because you're kind of not listening. More talking than listening. So, no, I think it's good to have some space sometimes. But
Yeah.
You managed to get space. You're a single parent, as I say, but with children, you're
Yes.
able to get space for yourself.
Well,
I know you've got
yeah.
the business,
No,
which
no,
is...
no, I do. And so that's a really different thing of now. I've got lots of time to, I guess, exercise or, you know, go to yoga and catch up with girlfriends and things like that. So it's a completely different life.
How many of your girlfriends are single mothers?
Not most of them are still married.
Right.
So, but I've got a couple who
Is
are.
that hard for you, seeing somebody?
Oh,
in a
wait, but it's
marriage?
interesting though. The people that I do tend to, the girls I do hang out with are fellow single mums, in a way. And then, I mean, of course, you got school events and things, so you're all together. But it's an interesting thing because you feel so you're on the outer web at times.
So, what advice? What can we do? You mix with single people and married people.
oh, yeah, I do.
It's
I
good
don't
to get the
know.
mix on though, and then you get the different sides
Yeah.
of each argument.
Yeah, honestly, I think as a couple,
We're just going to leave them
you can be
chatting,
like a
okay?
little bit
And they may
sensitive
be
to
still on the
single
same
people.
topic when we
Yeah.
come back in a week's time, but
then I'll
keep
be
the
able to
space
say,
book. They're busy. I'm going to go and have a lie down. Catch you next week on the Owl And The Pussycats.